from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome to the Tobago Updates morning show, coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough, Tobago. As we continue to give God thanks for life, I am Julian Skeet.
And I am Adana Kumbi. This is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. It is Thursday, 21st of March, 2024, and a lot is happening today. Today we know is the SEA exams. All of our standard 5 children are sitting the exams today, and we want to take this time to wish them the very best. We want to encourage you to stay calm, to remember all that you learned throughout the period while you were in standard, all the way up to standard 5, all the things that you have been practicing and rehearsing and, going over with your teachers. Take your time, and just articulate yourself well while you sit in that exam room. We are praying for you, we are supporting you, and we know that you will do your very best.
And I know I just want to join in addition to that, certainly, to shout out this morning, Resell Frederick on the outside there, heading into exam mood. Really want to wish you the very, very best. Jordan Armstrong heading into exam mode, and all our C students out there across Tobago, Trinidad and Tobago, going to make that difference today. Now's the time, rock back, you do your very best. And leave the rest to God. Do your very best and leave the rest to God ultimately. And my message for parents out there, easy this morning, parents, easy. Take it easy, parents and guardians, as best as possible. We know it's a trying and challenging time, but most certainly we look forward and wish our students the very best. And above all, students, by the time you have completed that exam just after midday or so today, I think it usually goes up to about 1 o'clock or so. Now is the time to start making your demands for anything you want, because the results are not going to be out for a while, so you can have a good time and not stress about the results itself. Enjoy life. This is only one step along that journey and that pathway with life. So we want to wish the very best coming from the entire Tobago Updates family. Adana, how have you been?
I have been well. Thank you for asking, Julian Skeet. What did you do yesterday? I know we had this youth program yesterday. So what did you do with your morning off?
Indeed. Yesterday, filled with a couple activities, engaging and so on, as usual, some of which I'm not at liberty to disclose on air, but a productive day indeed, I can assure you. A part of my day was spent listening to the news and wondering, will we possibly have another injunction to stop the road? Or is this the final injunction? Will we be able to drive on that very new road? We'll all wait to see what would happen in this circumstance. But Adana, this is probably a good time to head on over to News in 90 Seconds.
Thank you, Julian and Adana. Here is your news in 90 seconds for Thursday, March 21st, 2024. The PNM Tobago Council released a statement acknowledging the High Court's decision to lift the injunction of the Friendship Connector road construction. The party expressed support for the road construction as part of the A&R Robinson International Airport's broader development project, but emphasized the importance of adhering to the rule of law and due processes. While recognizing the permission granted to proceed with the project, the PNM clarified that it does not represent a victory for the THA. They urged the THA to respect the court's decision until the substantive matter is resolved. 36 Tobago police officers were honored yesterday for seizing 5 firearms and ammunition between January 1st, 2024 to present. ACP Collis Hazel presided over the commendation ceremony at the ADB building in Scarborough. The confiscated items include 1 rifle, 2 pistons, 2 revolver, and 24 rounds of 9mm ammunition from various communities. The Scarborough Criminal Investigations Department and Tobago Divisional Task Force were praised for their efforts. ACP Hazel praised the officers' outstanding commitment to enhancing safety on the island, urging them to become better team players despite challenges. And finally, with the secondary entrance exam today, Assemblyman Zarisha Hackett, Secretary of Education, Research and Technology, extended well wishes to students and provided exam guidelines. Stressing the exam's significance in primary school students' academic journey, Hackett highlighted its role as a gateway to future economic opportunities. She revealed that a total of 1,000 students consisting of 521 boys and 479 girls will write the exam today. This figure also includes 34 private candidates and 11 individuals granted special concessions. The exam will take place at 40 centers throughout Tobago. Good luck to all the C students today. And that was your news in 90 seconds.
Thank you very much there, Biana. As I heard the news, Adana, I remember the second thing I thought about yesterday. Will we hear about the reshuffle? Will we not? When will it come? Perhaps it may be coming soon. Who knows? We continue to wait for that promised committed reshuffle. The last indication being it maybe sooner than we actually think in these circumstances. We're looking forward. But today, going beyond just where my thoughts have gone yesterday, and in fact, the views here are that of Julian Skeet and not that of Tobago Updates. Going beyond just my thoughts for yesterday, Adana, I also want to take the time out today. It is Rock Your Socks.
That's right.
Rock Your Socks.
That's right.
And it's one of the comfortable mornings I could have just awoken, dip my hand into the drawer with socks and pull out any random two and not worry about a matching pair. Oh, how I love a day like this. But more than that, folks, more importantly, celebrating and signifying and showing that level of support for those, of course, who are challenged in terms of Down syndrome. And really, I like to encourage persons around this time, not just today, to really seek to learn something, understand something new, and go one step further and make that financial contribution in some way, form, or fashion to these organizations that continue to work tirelessly in terms of treating with and providing support to parents and families who continue to live with and to treat with those who are affected by Down syndrome. So indeed, today we join in lending our support as members of the Tobago Updates family. Folks, from where I sit, Diana is also rocking her socks. Who knows? You're going to see a photo posted. We'll rock those socks for you here at Tobago Updates.
That's right. And I want to join you, Julian, and I want to encourage our viewers to really get the education, to really learn and to understand what Down syndrome is and how it affects persons living with it and persons living with persons who are living with it. Because it really is a community thing. We need the measure of support. I mean, sometimes when you're ignorant of something, meaning not having the information, you don't know how to treat with, you don't know how to, so it's kind of difficult for you to accept and understand. So we really, pleading with you to get the information, to get the knowledge, so that you know how to deal with, how to treat, and what to expect from someone who is going through this type of life and this lifestyle. So we encourage you to do that. And of course, we are rocking our socks.
Indeed, and we're heading straight on over at this point to birthday shout-outs here on Tobago Updates.
And on screen and celebrating is Carlissa McEwen. She's celebrating a birthday. And of course, we want to say happy birthday to you. From all of us here at the Tobago Updates television family, we want to wish you the very best. We pray God's blessings upon your life.
Happy birthday, Carlissa. Indeed, a gem. A really beautiful young lady to engage with. Very positive. I want to wish you a happy birthday, Carlissa McEwen. And we move straight on to one who is like a mother to me. Indeed, Mrs. Marva Celestine. We want to say good morning to you and a happy birthday. I know that's what I was going to indicate. I know the celebrations I got off for you, and I'm trusting that in no way, if I know you any at all, that you should limit that to one day. Indeed, she's one of those persons that you would meet. Excellent service, excellent customer service, humane, that personal touch, being able to interact and engage with people no matter the circumstances.
That's right.
And of course, one who is for family and that kind of love and connection. And I want to say happy birthday to you. And thank you for the significant contribution and influence that you've also had even on my life.
Julian, you've taken all my words. Happy birthday. I know her.
She is a gem indeed.
Definitely a gem. Happy belated birthday.
And on screen, we have here one of my colleagues out of a Rotary sending birthday shout-outs, going out to the man himself, Dexter Trim. And if you know this gentleman any at all, gets his work done, keeps to his business, keeps going and keeps moving, and probably will not even take a day off to celebrate his birthday. We want to pause to say happy birthday going out to you. A very good friend and colleague out there, a past president of the Rotary Club of Southwest Tobago, Dexter Trim. Shout outs going out to you this morning.
All right.
All right, and we understand that we just have a quicker public service announcement this morning. Just in case you are able to identify it as easily, we got a message, and that's coming from keys that were left, a bunch of keys that were left, that were found, at the Tri-Star restaurant in Crown Point. So we just want to indicate to persons, if you know, and we'll of course post this up on our social media as well, if you know anyone that it may be associated with, most certainly have them make the necessary contact with us here at Tobago Updates. So thank you very much again. Adana, who do we have on the lineup, on the rundown this morning?
All right, so we're having conversations. We always have interesting conversations on Tobago Updates on the morning show. And we're starting off with Mr. John Arnold. Yes, we're speaking with Mr. John Arnold. He's a former CEO of Tobago Festivals Commission. And we're talking about festivals, tourism, and Tobago. Yes, a very interesting conversation, so you want to be a part of that. Then we speak with Caroline Decoto. She's the supervisor of Meteorological Services Division, Tobago. And we're talking World Meteorological Day 2024. So we're going to get some information and insight on that. And of course, to round up the conversation, we could not have done it without this conversation. We speak with Mr. Akil Andrews, the owner and the director of Ties and Nuts. And if you know anything about this young man, he is of course one of the biggest supporters of Rock Your Socks. And we're talking Rock Your Socks 2024, his involvement and what we can look forward to this year. So stay with us as we have these conversations. It's always a pleasure when you join us. We always count it a privilege that you chose us every morning to bring the news to you, the updates to you, things happening in and around the Tobago. So we just want to say thank you so much for choosing us, for staying with us, for leaving your comments, for showing us your support and your love. And of course, we want you to stay with us as we have these conversations. But before we do, of course, we have to go for a short break. And while we go for this break, we invite you to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Represent Sunday, 24th March, Glamorgan Youth Foundation Annual Regatta. Only the toughest will survive. Watch as teams viciously compete in various events: triathlon, obstacle course, and bamboo raft race on the Great Dog River. Only the bravest of sea dwellers dare race on the waters of Richmond Bay. Principal Pan After Party powered by the Street 91.9 FM Tobago. Cash prizes to be won and so much more. Action starts at 8:30 a.m. down at Richmond Bay. For more information, please contact 375-3835 or 776-9193. So, who will you represent?
It's March Madness at Standard Distributors Limited. Get $100 back for every $1,000 you spend. Major appliance deals on Frigidaire, Hyacinth, Samsung, and more. Plus, same-day financing options available. Don't miss out. Sale ends March 31st. Standard, never beaten on quality and prices.
Tobago on Easter Monday, the 1st of April. We get ready to hush in full bloom. The all-inclusive breakfast party from 5 a.m. till 12 noon at Mount Irvin. Performing live, I Will Joy, because the stage not good again. And Poetic. We don't be young, but we read somebody. Featuring John Boy and Ezel, Assassin and Smalls, Agent B, and Loud and Bashing, Selector 3D, and Snoopy. Tickets are $600. Available at Island E-Tickets, Kate Monkey, Ice Sting, and Ted Arthur's leather stores. For more info, 721-1992. Hush in full bloom. The all-inclusive breakfast party.
Hello everyone, it's your boy Harry here from Authentic Car Clinic, located right here in Tobago at Storby Local Road. You can WhatsApp us or call us at 366-4173.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers. We're just at about 7:16 a.m. and welcome back to the Tobago Updates morning show, coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough, Tobago. I'm Julian Skeet, and in this segment, we're heading into conversations with John Arnold, former CEO of the Tobago Festivals Commission. And this morning, we're chatting about festivals, we're chatting about tourism, and we're chatting about Tobago. How is that industry going, thriving, or rather chatting about the lack thereof, as may be the perspective. Good morning to you and welcome.
Oh, yes, sir. How are you?
Fine, thank you. And how are you doing?
I am really doing well, I'm good.
So we want to dive right on in. In more recent times, we have seen what are attempts by the current administration, as they have described it, to make some changes to the landscape of festivals and activities in Tobago. I want to start from that perspective because I know you not only functioned as CEO for what would have been the established Tobago Festivals Commission, but you're one that is well respected in the Tobago field, in fact Trinidad and Tobago and beyond, for your involvement in the art forms. What would be your first impression, commendation or concern in relation to the direction in which you see things going with regards to festivals on the island?
All right. So first, I want to preface what I have to say because, one of the things I think that we don't have the ability to do a lot of in the spaces in Tobago is to be able to discuss and distill some of these things without anybody thinking it's political. So I want to make that abundantly clear. I am Tobagonian, I'm Trinbagonian, I'm Caribbean, and, I really want to see everything for Tobago. So it has absolutely, my comments have nothing to do with politics. I think festival tourism, when you look at it, Julian, happens to be one of those niches within the whole diversified tourism ecosystem that we have to know that it's been tried and tested. And also, you have enough examples in the Caribbean where you have seen the success and what that has done. And I think it's unfortunate for me to have heard that the festival was abandoned or put on hold. I will tell you why. The mere fact that it started last year, post-COVID, and there was such strong media response, and there was such strong participation, and also from Trinidad, we saw, which is the main market, we saw what I thought it was unfortunate that we chose to do that at a time like this. Because I think the studies by Keith Nurse in 2017 and the one by Dr. Henry Carey Consultant in 2018 are really good roadmaps for us to make decisions going forward as to what we do with festival tourism in Tobago. And all of them suggested that we really need to look at it because there's serious benefits, not only in terms of international visitors, but domestic, regional. It also helps you in your destination branding, all right? Apart from all that, it also helps the local people in terms of the cultural confidence, in terms of feeling self-worthy as a people. We have something that people can come to and so on. So there's several benefits that were identified in those reports. And for me, those are the things we have to look at because that is what brings people to the island and people going to spend and people going to participate and so on.
I want to touch on particularly one of the more recent ones that would have been cancelled or way given, if you want to put it that way, to the private sector to get involved. And I know you've been involved in this thing from as early as the start.
From the beginning.
Right,
2005.
from the very beginning, in the days of CLICO and then transitioning. Right, tell us, what would you have said, in your time there, you would have seen as that greater vision, coming from 2005, what you might have hoped for in 2025 with seeing where that festival was intended to go, moving from the private sector to something primarily managed by the THE. Was there a consideration that it would eventually go back to the private sector? What was the thinking behind it?
Well, the thinking, I will tell you, in the very beginning. So if you take it back to 2000, after Ringmang, the whole idea about festival tourism was like a kind of. But however, when another administration came in 2001, there was an initial fear about going into festivals. I came in tourism in 2003, and the first thing that was done was you probably remember it, the Tobago International Gospel Festival, where we were targeting the Atlanta Bible Belt and so on. And then came 2005, which was supposed to be a partnership between a PPP, private and public partnership, to have this festival going. And at that time, I remember we first approached Bob York, actually, and he didn't give an answer very fast. We had a disappointment from the other investor, and so that's when CLICO came on board. And actually, it was so threatened that year, I actually had to run off along with Tony Barrage to Los Angeles to put the festival back on track. Because it was threatened at that time. And then from 2005 to 2008, we had the partnership of CL Communication as one of the support for it. And then 2009, the discussion was we cannot stop because the brand had already gone out there. Forbes already declared us one of the top destinations for jazz and so on. So in 2009, that's when the Tobago Jazz Experience was born. What's important to note is that even without it being a policy, there was a kind of philosophy that festival tourism will help to drive traffic by attracting other people to the destination. And I don't have to tell you the multiplier effect of that. Now, you touch on something which I think is very important, but I think we have to go back to objectives. Private entrepreneurs have, we have different objectives why you do things. But we know that private entrepreneurs, it has to be a bottom line. My personal, let me use the word personal, feeling is that I think that all governments, all persons who are in charge, have a responsibility to several things, whether it be security, roads, infrastructure, community centers, what have you. And I think that one of the commitments has to be to make sure that not only the tourism infrastructure, but also some of the things that talk about the tourism businesses and the tourism sector from the perspective of the niches. If we decide that festival tourism is a niche, then those have to be supported by the state. That's my very deep conviction on that.
And I know I get that clearly because I know your passion when it comes to this. But how do you then make the comparison with the views expressed that we just cannot afford to sustain it? How do you treat with that kind of a scenario? In still wanting it to happen, but the views are being expressed that we just cannot sustain, and financially that is the continued execution of at least this initiative and considerations for revisiting some of the others.
Well, you're bringing me back to the same perspective I'm trying to drive, which is as long as there's planning taking place and you're deciding what are the niches. Now, if the government or whoever decides that we do not want festival tourism as a niche that we're going to pursue, then fine. You only pursue the other niches that you've done. You remember when we did the dive tourism was thought as a niche to pursue, and we got a flight coming out of Brazil You remember that? And then it did not work out. What did they do? They abandoned that initiative. It didn't say dive stopped. You still have people going to dive shows. You still have dive as a niche. But I think decisions have to be made from a policy perspective as to exactly what are the niches we're going to drive to bring tourists to the island. I'm telling you, Julian, that the St. Lucia model is one that we have to look at. And also the two reports did indicate you spend a lot of money to get those reports, that we need to look at it. As a matter of fact, one of the reports says that we need to change the name, but we should not stop it because of the benefits that will accrue in the medium and long run.
And you took me to another point, because from where I sit, ultimately you're looking around the Caribbean, and that's precisely the next question that I was going to. Mm-hmm. And you are seeing the World Music Festival being executed on different levels among our Caribbean islands. What would you say is fundamentally different there versus the challenges we are identifying here as a reason to stop it fully from the standpoint of the government that is in the context of the THA, and really kind of leave that heavier burden or the heavier lifting to the private sector? What's different between?
Well, I think I can't speak for the THA. But I would think that as a professional in the festival tourism area, that islands like St. Lucia certainly have seen the benefit of having the festival as something that is supported both from the government and beyond. You remember when the St. Lucia started? It started off with a partnership with BT. I don't know if you could go way back, right? Well, I don't know. But it started off as a partnership with BT, and then BT moved out, and then they had to change. And then over the years, you saw where there were changes in the naming of the festival to expand it. The last consultant suggested that because we were embracing not just jazz, he suggested we call it the Tobago Soca and Carry Jazz Festival, which he thought would now kind of expand the thing, because you now had a festival that was talking to reggae, world beat, jazz, calypso, soca, and so on. My point is that I think if you look at it, it happens. You have seen other islands do it, and it works. So I think it's something to put on the planning board, that you say, it's a matter of how you prioritize your funding and how you plan to make sure that this tourism niche is supported fully. And I think once you have that, we also have, over the years, remember when Flo came on board for a 3-year partnership, 1 million every year. So I think it's a matter of, now that post-COVID and we started back really good, the attempts should have been that we continue to again see if we can court private sponsorship to help support it. But on the other hand, I am of the firm view that it is a responsibility of those in government.
I want to get from you, John. I can't help but press you in this interview for some unpaid advice. How do you see things going from here? What are your hopes still very much, even with what has transpired in this year, in 2024? And I'm speaking now specifically to the festival. Yeah. What are your hopes in terms of going forward to really still perhaps find that middle ground where we don't lose altogether, but at the same time we're able to meet or to overcome the challenge that is being identified as it relates to the festival, and particularly here we're speaking to looking broadly at the jazz festival.
So I want to start by just saying that the way I see it is that private entrepreneurs are great. The fringe will all benefit because rising tide effect. If the state does something big, all the other fringe will lift. All the boats will rise. But I would think that because of the serious benefits this has had for the island, in terms of the branding, in terms of the destination awareness, in terms of the visibility outside, right? I think that moving forward, one of the things that can be done is 2025 to really think it's not, we would have had a year off. I think we really should consider If you want to rebrand it, but you come again with a festival like this, because we are lucky, Julian, in that we have Trinidad is one of our great markets. 75% of the people who come to the festival come from Trinidad. And we are fortunate as an island to have that as a backup to our international visitor decrease, which has been happening for years, in terms of international visitor arrivals.
So it's good to know, John. You don't see all us being lost.
No, I don't see them being lost. And I hope that going forward, that those in authority would sit down with other folks in the spaces and discuss what are some of the ways, because as I told you, I am all about Tobago. I am really not into the to-in and fro-in and politicking thing. I really want to see Tobago continue to move and to continue to kind of go places.
All right, excellent indeed. We've got to leave it there for this morning, folks. And certainly talking to one of our professionals and dedicated in the field. And I'm happy he reminded me all too well. He's been in it from the very beginning with the creation and development, and certainly still being willing to offer his support and sitting down if needs be. Let's discuss what the possibilities are with that greater focus on Tobago. And I love the declaration, going beyond just the politics, looking for something that can certainly and has worked. And if there's need for tweaking, we tweak it, we adjust it, we modify it, but just don't throw it out altogether and hope that private entities are able to pick it up and to be able to run with it. So thank you very much again.
Thanks a lot for this.
Arnold, for joining us here on set this morning at the Tobago Updates morning show. And viewers, at this point, we're preparing to head on out to a break, but we certainly want to remind you, again, for those of you viewing on the outside there, before we head on out, our C students are heading out this morning. Parents, easy. Stay calm. Parents, stay calm. You're in that rush mode at the moment and you're trying to test them to see if they remember something, and you're hearing my voice now. This morning is not the morning for that, parents. Allow them to be as calm and comfortable as possible to head on into their exams. And once again, we wish the very best to all our C students heading out there this morning. And let's remember them in prayer as well. Viewers, we head on out to a break, and we want to remind you that this is your opportunity to share the live, share the live, share the live.
It's March Madness at Standard Distributors Limited. Get $100 back for every $1,000 you spend. Major appliance deals on Frigidaire, Hyacinth, Samsung, and more. Plus, same-day financing options available. Don't miss out. Sale ends March 31st. Standard, never beaten on quality and prices. Scrub Ties brings to you our organic fat dissolving shots. Yes, guys, our lemon butter shots breaks down stubborn fat, tightens any loose skin while increasing your metabolism. No side effects, no downtime. We also offer cavitation, cellulite treatment, butt, breast, hip dip fillers, weight loss, fertility IVs, and much more. Contact us on 495-6624 or follow us on Instagram at Scrub Ties Body Contouring.
From Authentic Builders General Hardware, located right here in Storby Local Road, Tobago. That's correct, right here in Tobago. And we are offering you guys the best prices on all hardware material. And if you would like to get your free quotation done All you have to do is WhatsApp us at 272-1990 and we will give you guys the best prices on all hardware material. That is a guarantee as we are matching or beating any quotations.
At JK Tech, we bring technology to your doorstep. From cutting-edge laptops to reliable printers, we've got it all. Nationwide delivery and a new website for easy online ordering. JK Tech is your one-stop shop for your electronics and computer needs. Carrying top brands such as Acer, Samsung, HP, and much more. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at JKTechTT or visit jktechtt.com. Quality tech is just a click away. JK Tech. Evaluate your shopping experience, your tech, your way. Call or WhatsApp 383-2651. Shop smart, shop JK Tech.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show on Tobago Updates Television. I am Adana Kambi. And this morning we continue conversations in studio and we're speaking with Miss Carolyn DeCoto, and she's the supervisor of the Meteorological Services Division in Tobago. And we're talking World Meteorological Day 2024. Good morning and welcome to our program.
Good morning. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. So World Meteorological Day, this is a day where
meteorologists shine. That is our time to shine.
Right.
Where we come out and show who we are, what we do, and why we do it.
Right.
Right.
So tell us who you are, what you do, and why you do it.
Meteorologists are the people who give you weather and climate information. Weather, of course, impacts everything in our lives. How we work, how we dress, food sustainability, life sustainability, basically. Sometimes it depends. Your life even depends on weather, because if you don't have a storm coming that might be deleterious to your area and you don't know, you could end up in trouble. Right. So weather is the encompassing area of everything, and it affects everything that we do.
Right, and so you are able to predict this type of new weather changes that might occur in any environments.
Right, so we do weather in terms of real-time weather is 24/7, and as observing these weather information, the observations go into a database, and that is used for long-term weather, which is climate, and that is this year's theme at the front line of climate action. Right, so of course, over the years, we have been hearing about climate change and the impacts that it has, and so this year we are focusing on that, and not only dealing with mitigation, but also showing people how they can adapt and so on. Right, so it's something we want to focus on and bring to the forefront of meteorology this year.
Right, and you mentioned climate change and the impact it has on the weather, of course. Can you determine some of the things that will impact a measure of, let's say, climate change that will in fact affect the weather patterns and the weather changes?
Well, what will affect climate and the impact of weather? Well, basically, there's two questions you're asking. Right. So what will affect the climate, basically, is the weather and the changes in the weather pattern. And that is affected by environmental impacts mostly. Most of the climate change is actually anthropological climate change, which is caused by humans, right? So carbon emissions, buildup of litter and so on in the ocean, the atmosphere. So what you end up having is global warming. You have the ocean is also warming as well. So that means that weather patterns change. You no longer really have a dry or wet season, or you have extremely wet seasons,
That's right.
Extremely dry seasons and so on. So the whole atmospheric balance is actually upset.
Due to human behavior.
Human behavior. And that is why the IPCC mandated that you have the maximum increase of the atmospheric temperature is 1.5. Right now we're at 1.4 degrees Celsius. So we almost at that threshold. We're trying to keep it under that.
And what happens if it gets to that threshold or even over?
Well, of course, things will get much worse because you see what's happening with glaciers and so. Because people's lifestyles, everything depends on weather. If the glaciers melt, you're going to have a downward effect. You see all these terrible floods and so on. Then you have areas where you have drought, right? Or you might have a very dry winter, probably in the southern hemisphere and that kind of thing. So when we reach that threshold, well, Lord help us. But we are trying to bring it down. So that is the threshold we were mandated to work with over a period of years. And by 2027, everyone should have information concerning, I should say correct information concerning weather and climate to be able to sustain themselves and keep things at a certain level, basically.
And we've even experienced it right here in Trinidad and Tobago, and we're in the dry season now, and it is very, very dry and very, very hot. And even the rainy season wasn't that rainy at all. We didn't get much rain during that rainy season at all. And of course, as you're saying, it's because of human behavior. And what I'm very happy about is the expo that is upcoming and the fact that you're talking now about giving the information and educating people on how they should behave, change their behavior rather, what they should do to contribute towards maintaining the levels that we need to maintain. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Okay, so the expo tomorrow is really bringing the Met Office to the public. So we are going to be at the Port Mall from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And it's everything weather. We are going to have videos. You could get information, leaflets. You could also get demonstrations. You'll have our weather radar displays and so on. Find out how to join the Met Service because, of course, we are always short staffed. Right. So, and you could come and find out anything you need to know about weather. Our well-educated staff will be on hand to assist in anything that you want to know. There are little games and prizes and so on. So we encourage the public to come out and take part. Right, get to know more about weather because not everybody could visit the Met Office, so we are bringing it to the public.
And what I like about this is the engaging and interactive aspect of it. And you mentioned, of course, a possible recruitment drive in terms of getting people to join. How do you join, or how do you even start your journey in this industry?
Right. So in order to start your journey as a meteorologist, the first thing you have to do in secondary school is physics and maths, because that is the basis of meteorology. I know people love to run from physics. They love to run from maths. But at the end of the day, you can do it if you really want to. If this is your passion, you will find a way to do it. Right? And the world doesn't have that many meteorologists. The world, we are a very small group of people.
Wow.
Right? That's why you have WMO, which was established in 1950. On Saturday, which is actually World Meteorological Day, which is the day it's celebrated every year, the 23rd of March. But we're celebrating tomorrow because we want more interaction with the public. Right? But that's why they started celebrating World Meteorological Day, to showcase who we are, what we do, and why we do it.
Right. So I just want to help you here to encourage our public and our viewers. The world is short on meteorologists. So if you're interested in, you're now trying to figure out what your career path is, this is as good as any. And, of course, it helps and it contributes on an international scale, might I say, it helps us to track and to measure and all the fancy things that they do as meteorologists. And I think that it is a very welcoming situation where you are here now trying to recruit people to get into this industry. And now that we're learning a little bit more about it, we see the importance. And so, we want to encourage you, if you have a passion or even an interest, to come on tomorrow at the expo, which takes place right here in the Port Mall. Where would you be setting up?
We'll be setting up in the foyer downstairs.
Right. So I want to take the opportunity to encourage our viewers to come and to see what is happening, be part of the discussion, ask the questions you want to ask. You might be surprised as to what you might be able to learn and understand clearer when you come and you interact with the staff there, the very capable and trained staff there, as they have the expo talking about the weather and, all these interesting things. I'm sitting here and my mind is just going around and I'm thinking about so many different things because, as a child, especially, I was always attracted to the news for some reason, and I like watching, the little animations they have, and trying to understand, how do you know what is going to happen tomorrow? How do you know it's going to rain? And of course, as you mentioned, it talks about physics and maths and all these things that you have to measure these things. It's very interesting for me, and I'm hoping that is interesting for our viewers as well.
Okay, I hope so too. But it should be, because it's not the ordinary run-of-the-mill job, right? It's outside, it's a technical area, basically. I mean, you have the admin aspect, but really and truly be our scientists. Meteorologists are scientists, right? So I would like to encourage people to come out, see what is happening, ask your questions, get your tokens, and remember, the theme for this year's World Meteorological Day is at the front line of climate action.
Yes, and we want to encourage this very, very much, because it is important to all of us.
Yes, it is.
As you mentioned earlier in your introduction, you said that the weather affects and impacts everything, our way of life. So we really want to get as much information as we can get where this is concerned, and we do wish you the very best at the expo tomorrow. I do hope that people come out and they engage with the information, they ask questions, and and I'm hoping, as you continue to have expos and public education, that people will actually gravitate towards the information and make kind of an effort to change our life. I mean, right now, we just want to have everything quick. We want to move. We want to do everything as quickly as possible. And I do know that human behavior has impacted. And I'm hoping that over time, I mean, it's a culture we're going to have to break.
Yes.
I mean, it's behaviors we have to change now. We have to look at, our way of life. And how are we going to change that in terms of slowing down so that we preserve, what we have right now to ensure.
Correct. And as you said, that you want everything at our fingertips, I'll take that opportunity to tell you about our Met app. The Met service has an app where you can just log in, download it at the Apple Store or the Google Play Store. Log in, get your information, your weather forecasts, alerts, and so on. So people update that, download and use that as well. So as Ayana said, at your fingertips.
So that way you'll be able to know, should I wear my rain boots today? Should I wear my sandals?
Correct.
Should I wear my blazer or my nice, cute, summer top? So get that app, download the app, and of course, be in the know as it relates to the weather. And of course, as I said, try to maintain a level of interest and be intentional about your way of life. Think about the actions you're going to take. Is it absolutely necessary? Do I need to do this? Do I need that? And how is it going to impact and affect the weather and climate change and our way of life? Not just for me now, but for my generation and the generations that will come from my lineage. Because, I mean, we're seeing how things are happening, and we want to, of course, ensure that we can keep the world together.
Correct.
This
conversation can go on forever, because I'm thinking also about the coral bleaching with the high temperatures in the sea. Now, last year was one of the hottest years on record, and the Coral Protected Agency of the World is actually thinking about declaring certain reefs as being endangered, right? Because remember, a reef is a living thing, and it takes years, millions of years to grow, right? So even our brain coral here has been bleached, in addition to all the other things that are happening in our seas in Tobago, we know.
Wow. So you see how one small action can have a trickle effect.
Yes.
So let us try to be, careful and intentional. And I want to encourage you again to come out to the expo tomorrow. It's happening right here at the Port Mall in the foyer from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Come and get all the information, ask all the questions, interact with the information, win your tokens. You never know, you might be able to win something. You will get some insight on if you want to become a meteorologist, what do I do? And you'll get the support that you need. I want to say thank you so much for joining us this morning and for bringing that information, and of course for even educating me on certain levels in terms of how this thing actually affects and impacts us, and the fact that the world is looking for meteorologists. There's a shortage in the entire world, not just Trinidad and Tobago. So we're encouraging you to step forward and say, maybe I'll be that other person to join this team. Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure having you here, and we do hope to hear from you soon again, and we wish you all the success at the expo tomorrow.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have been speaking with Ms. Dikoto. She is the supervisor there at the Meteorological Division in Tobago. And we're going to go for a short break because we have to continue conversations in studio with our guests. And of course, before we go, we invite you to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
The best place to stay in Tobago is at Thorns Place with rates starting as low as 200 TT. Call or WhatsApp 745-7306 or 682-8676. We are located uptown Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port. Remember, at Thorns Place, our aim is to make your stay safe and affordable. Scrub Ties brings to you our organic fat dissolving shots. Yes guys, our lemon butter shot breaks down stubborn fat, tightens any loose skin while increasing your metabolism. No side effects, no downtime. We also offer cavitation, cellulite treatment, butt, breast, hip dip fillers, weight loss, fertility IVs, and much more. Contact us on 495-6624 or follow us on Instagram at Scrub Ties Body Contouring.
Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show on Tobago Updates Television. It's 7:54 a.m. and if you're getting to work for 8, you have 6 minutes. And remember those children who are doing SCA, no stress this morning. No stress, it's just calmness. We're going to get the job done, and by 12:30 it's pizza for everybody. Yes, it's going to be a good day. Just calm down, Remember what you were taught and just do your very best. Right, ladies and gentlemen, we're continuing conversations this morning in studio with our guest, and we're speaking with Mr. Akil Andrews. And if you know anything at all about Mr. Akil Andrews, he's the owner and the director of Ties and Nuts. Ties and Nuts is a brand, a gentleman's brand, of course, and we're talking about Rock Your Socks 2024. Good morning, Mr. Andrews, and welcome.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Of course, always a pleasure. And of course, we're talking about Rock Your Socks 2024. We know the reason behind rocking your socks. And we know, of course, that you are very passionate about this cause.
Yeah.
And we know, of course, that you lend your support to the persons who need it the most at this time. Let us talk a little bit about what is the essence and the genesis behind Rock Your Socks.
All right, so March 21st, basically we celebrate World Down Syndrome Day, right? So we pay homage to persons with Down syndrome, those persons with that extra chromosome, where we pay homage to them by wearing our mismatched socks, right? So of course, I found it fitting to embark on this initiative because I have, as I said, a gentleman's business. Ties and Nuts is a male accessory line, but it's sale of ties, socks, tie pins, cufflinks, etc. So in 2020, I decided that, I'm going to start this campaign, and I also partner with the Peters Family Foundation, where part proceeds are, given back to that NGO to assist families with Down syndrome.
And I'm happy that you mentioned the fact that the reason people have Down syndrome is because they have that extra chromosome. And the socks, of course, kind of represents what the chromosomes look like.
Yeah.
And so that's why, people kind of wear the socks. And I'm so happy to learn that a young man has seen the importance to partner with.
Yes.
What is, in terms of your interaction with the Peters Foundation or persons with Down syndrome, what have you learned from it, or what have you, been exposed to that is the most remarkable thing? I saw your recent post on your Facebook page, I think it was, when you were interacting with one of the young men.
Yeah.
So what are some of the things that stand out for you?
Well, this year's theme is breaking the stereotypes, right? And prior to my interaction with them, we all have them in a box or in a bubble. So interacting with them, as I said, I will always say it changed my life because they are just like you and I. They interact very well. They have dreams, they have goals, just like all of us. And, it's just for us to include them in the day-to-day operations of life. They are not limited to having kids, or not limited to not having children, or not owning their own home, or starting up a business, or anything of this sort, or having careers, etc. Because, as I said, they are just like you and I. And I always say that extra chromosome is extra love. Right? So I would have worked closely with Jeremy Peters. That's a part of the Peters Family Foundation. Gabrielle Woods. I would always call Gabrielle Woods' name because I would always say she's the one that really changed my life, because I think she's only, I can't say how old she is. I know she's a preteen, right? And I worked with her in 2022. I had my niece on set, and the interaction between the two of them, it was amazing.
Wow.
And my nieces, they are in that teenage phase now. So, as I said, yeah.
Well, I am so happy that, you partnered with them. You saw the importance and that you have that passion and that drive. And I could feel it when you were speaking. I could see that you really are. This is not a promo or marketing scheme here. This is something that you're really passionate about.
Yeah.
And so we want to encourage persons, of course, to rock your socks. As we mentioned earlier, the team here at Tobago Updates, they're rocking their socks. Akil is rocking his socks. And we want you too to rock your socks. How can persons get a pair of socks to rock today? Those who have not yet gotten their socks, you can still get them. How can they get them today?
All right, so they could contact me at 475-9632. That's my mobile number. 65 per pair. Right, as I said, part proceeds are given to the Peters Family Foundation to assist with families with, Down syndrome.
Awesome. Yeah. So it's not too late for you to get your pay. And of course, as we mentioned, it's for a worthy cause. We want to support families who have persons living with Down syndrome. And we want to continue to spread the information, to spread the education that people, the general public, becomes educated about this situation. So we know how to deal with and to treat with persons who are living with this situation. I mean, as Akil said, they are normal people, just like you and I.
Just like you.
They have something that we don't have. They have something extra. And as you said, that extra chromosome is love. It's for love. So we're going to give them that love today, and we're going to get our socks and rock them. In closing, is there anything you want to share with our viewers today?
It's not a fashion statement today. It's all about paying homage to them. So yes, you want to wear something that matches your outfit, but let us remember the importance of the day. So rock your socks to pay homage to the person with Down syndrome, and let's remember them not only just for today, but anytime after as well.
That's right. So get the education and make it a habit, a life habit. Make it a passion. You know, the more you know, the more equipped you are. So rock your socks today and get the information for tomorrow and the day after tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. And let us continue to support the community of persons who are living with Down syndrome. Don't forget, you can get your socks. You can check Akil's page on Facebook and I suppose Instagram, Ties and Nuts. You will get more information and you will see the wide selection. As a matter of fact, if you're on the Portmore right now in studio, you can check us. We have a few pairs here. Yes, and it's only $65. I want to wish everyone who is celebrating someone who has Down syndrome today all the very best. I want to express love to all of you guys. I have had the pleasure of interacting with a few persons, and I'm telling you, yes, that extra chromosome really is love. They are the most loving and caring and observant people. So just continue to give them your love and your support there as we observe them today and make it a habit to just drop in, see how they're doing and lend that measure of support. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is where we end the morning show on Tobago Updates Television, but we do not end our programming here. We continue on with Tobago Notes and then we head on over to GMT with Candice Jackson. So we ask you to stay with us. And while you stay with us, of course, we want you to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
The Buku Reef Marine Park was the focus of this year's World Ocean Day Symposium, facilitated by the THA's Department of Marine Resources and Fisheries. Celebrating our blue heritage was the theme under which environmental stakeholders discussed the socio-economic and ecological importance of this marine protected area. Participants also talked about the creation of a multi-sectoral management strategy for the marine park.
What we are looking at is a multi-stakeholder co-management approach. So everybody has a say. Tourism as well. In fact, tourism is a main stakeholder because if we're talking Buku Reef, right, our main tourism attraction, but yet, so there are tourism objectives as it pertains to the management, but yet there are conservation objectives, and sometimes you find a tension between those two objectives. So the discussion here will be focusing on how can we harmonize the tourism objectives with the conservation objectives so that all could be happy and we manage well.
I think the NGOs and the private sector, they have a more vested interest in the environment. So I think they will be better to take the initiative to make this work.
It was refreshing to see a lot of like-minded people and you have stakeholders that's now coming to the realization that we need to have some kind of a protection of our marine environment that is unique to the island. It can't be governmental run. Can't be run by the government. It has to be the private sector, the stakeholders, the people who are involved in the environment.
I like the points about the spatial planning and zoning of the park. That's very important, and that's one of the aspects of the fishing as well, because people must know where they can go in the park and do certain activities, and that is a good practice. Tobago's main tourism product is the ocean, the rainforest, and all that surrounds us, but the ocean plays a big part in Tobago, and preserving it is definitely key.
Other World Ocean Day activities included beach cleanups at Kilgrin Bay and No Man's Land, along with a landfish derby at Castara. A seafood fair coming up on Friday, 30th June, rounds out the month of World Ocean Day activities on the island.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
Represent Sunday, 24th March, Glamorgan Youth Foundation Annual Regatta. Only the toughest will survive. Watch as teams viciously compete in various events. Triathlon, obstacle course, and bamboo raft race on the Great Dog River. Only the bravest of sea dwellers dare race on the waters of Richmond Bay. Principal, Pan, after party powered by the Street 91.9 FM Tobago. Cash prizes to be won and so much more. Action starts at 8:30 a.m. down at Richmond Bay. For more information, please contact 375-3835 or 776-9193. So, who will you represent?
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hear my neighbor. 60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power, we are people in the sun. We are beaches, we are rivers, we are melanin.
Welcome to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates, your source for current affairs in Tobago, Trinidad, and the region. With the perfect conversations to complement your morning routine, I am Candace Jackson, and let's get started with the news in 90 seconds. The PNM Tobago Council released a statement acknowledging the High Court's decision to lift the injunction on the Friendship Connector road construction. The party expressed support for the road construction as part of the A&R Robinson International Airport's broader development project, but emphasized the importance of adhering to the rule of law and due processes. While recognizing the permission granted to proceed with the project, the PNM clarified that it does not represent a victory for the THA. They urged the THA to respect the court's decision until the substantive matter is resolved. Up next, 36 Tobago police officers were honored yesterday for seizing 5 firearms and ammunition between January 1st, 2024 to present. ACP Collis Hazel presided over the commendation ceremony at the ADB building in Scarborough. The confiscated items included 1 rifle, 2 pistols, 2 revolvers, and 24 rounds of 9mm ammunition from various communities. The Scarborough Criminal Investigations Department and the Tobago Task Force were praised for their efforts. ACP Hazel also praised the officers' outstanding commitment to enhancing safety on the island, urging them to become better team players despite the challenges. And finally, with the secondary entrance exam on today, Assemblyman Zorisha Haki, the Secretary of Education, Research and Technology, extended well wishes to the students and provided exam guidelines. Stressing the exam's significance in primary students' academic journey, Hackett highlighted its role as a gateway to future economic opportunities. She revealed that a total of 1,000 students consisting of 521 boys and 479 girls will write the exam today. This figure also includes 34 private candidates and 11 individuals granted special concessions. The exam will take place at 40 centers throughout Tobago. Good luck to all USAA students. Of course, they are probably getting into their exams right now, but certainly our thoughts and prayers are with them and with the parents themselves, who we know that you all have been doing all the work and being there with your children to get ready for these exams. But it's going to be over very soon, and you all can relax and celebrate and just take it easy with your children. All right. So now getting into our conversation for this morning, I am going to be chatting with the Assistant Secretary in the Division of Settlements, Public Utilities and Rural Development, and that is Mr. Niall George. So special good morning and welcome to you, Mr. George. How are you doing?
I'm okay. Good morning, Tobago, and a special good morning to the residents of the district of Plymouth-Brackrock.
All right, great. So now we heard yesterday at the post-exec media briefing that the THA has been doing quite a lot of work in terms of its lighting initiative across Tobago. Just tell me a little bit about, just being able to have all of that accomplished. I think what was like $1.3 million spent there or thereabouts on getting all of that lighting infrastructure on roads throughout Tobago.
Well, actually, candidates, it's $2.6 million.
2.6, okay.
$2.6 million and 516 streetlights to be exact. The number is so large that, as I said yesterday, Tiantec was not prepared for such a large number of jobs. So, to the persons that have not seen the work done in their areas yet, I took quite a bit of time yesterday to explain and to highlight the areas that were completed and the areas that are to be done. And that is so that persons out there would know that they are coming in your direction. It's just about the resources to get the work done, but the THA has done its part and we have paid for the jobs to be completed.
Mm-hmm. So tell me first of all about the challenges you face in getting that program off the ground, because I think you mentioned yesterday that you met a list of roads that were tabled or had been submitted to Tiantec to get done, but were not done. So just take us through what happened there.
So some of these lighting projects have been outstanding since 2017. We met and we secured additional finances so that we could cover a substantial number of the projects. If you remember, when we came into office, we also met a outstanding backlog in housing grants.
Mm-hmm.
And we were able to secure funds to clear the backlog so that we could move forward. Now, the requests would always be more than the allocation. That is the world we live in. That is the expectation that we face. The more work you do, the more requests you get. So we try as much as possible to meet the demand. Unfortunately, it's a impossible task. We would never be able to complete all, but what we are able to do is, as the funds come in, we pay for the jobs.
So what were some of those roads that were on that list since 2017 waiting to be done?
There were, at this point in time, I cannot tell you those exactly at this point in time because I wasn't prepared for that question, to be quite honest with you, but there are some in Pembroke that Secretary B. Israel would have done when she was a minority councillor, and there's in Arnersville as well.
Mm-hmm.
Huntley Trace, that is one that would have been outstanding for a number of years. Well, Dalaford to Campbellton as well, because my father is from Speyside, I have family in Speyside, and I remember as a child going there that roadway would have been dark. So the residents in Speyside, Dalaford, Charleville, they were very grateful, full of praise for the work that was done.
Mm-hmm. And what is the process like in terms of the THA sees that, okay, these roads need to be lighted, and what happens next? Take us through the process of being able to get it done so you could better understand the process.
Okay, so the process currently is that the requests come to the division via area representatives or the public at large. We then send the requests to Tiantec. Sorry. We decide on, we look at the votes, establish the amount of monies that we have. We then look at the requests, rank them on importance, and then we send them to Tiantec. When they go to Tiantec, Tiantec then estimate the jobs. Now, these estimates only last 4 months. So that's why we sit at the division and assess the finances before we send it out. Because if you do not have the finances, you would then have, and it 4 months elapsed, you would then have to send them back to be re-estimated. And that's a waste of resources. Prior, the system was that members of the public would be able to send requests to Tiantec and they would estimate them. And sometimes these would elapse. So you would then have to send them back again. That would then create a longer waiting time as well. So we have decided that we would accept the requests in the division, and then we'd only send the ones that can be paid for to TNTech. It's a smoother process, and it allows for us to get through the system, the process quicker. So it's to the division first, and then the division would send it to TNTech. If you have been sending requests to TNTech, TNTech would then have to send it back to us. So we advise the public to send the requests to the division. Either you bring them in yourself or you send them in via your area rep.
And then how do the roads get chosen? How do we prioritize which ones? Because as you said, you have limited funds. So naturally you would have to prioritize which ones get done.
All right, so we look at, based on the length of time outstanding, we look at the usage of the area, we look at the, as you may know, Candice, unfortunately, crime has been increasing on the island. So we look at the importance in terms of the criminal activity in the area, and that's the basis of how many persons are going to be affected by the job as well. And that's the main basis of how we make the decisions.
And what's the relationship like with TNTech? Do you have a good relationship to be able to work towards getting these things done?
We do. We have a very, very, very good relationship with TNTech, notwithstanding that TNTech is scheduled and falls under the Ministry of Public Utilities, but the managers in TNTech have been very helpful. Most of the public utilities in Tobago all have been very cooperative. I get a sense that sometimes they get orders from higher up in terms of hindrances, but generally they have been very cooperative. Managers Giles and Hackett, they have been very cooperative in terms of the street lighting. One phone call away and you're able to access work schedules, you'll be able to answer questions that the public would have posed to you. So I would like to thank them, and I hope that the relationship continues in a very good way.
So give us an idea about what are some of those roads that, were the priority that you were able to get lit.
All right, so French Fort, for example,
yes.
that one goes without saying. That's probably Tobago's #1 exercising spot. And I myself use French Fort. One of the problems that you would have experienced with French Fort is that due to darkness, it had a limited window. When you got to, if you would pretty much have to exercise there in the morning or sneak a little bit of time from work, because most times at 6 p.m. it's dark. So now you can traverse the hill at pretty much any point in time as long as you have company. The Kings Bay to Camberton one as well. That was a major stretch. That was the largest of the jobs. That was 700K approximately. And that was one that was very outstanding. As I said, I have been going to Speyside all my life, and that road has been very dark. If you had some kind of mechanical problems between Delaford and Speyside, it was terrifying. So yes, we are very proud of these two jobs.
And so what else is on the list now to be accomplished?
It's quite a long list actually, and the thing about it is we have been able to touch pretty much everywhere across Tobago. As I said, it's $2.6 million. It's a lot of money, and it's money well spent. But the thing is, it's not only about street lighting, it's about electrification, because there are some areas in Tobago that some people generally did not have access to electricity, and it was very important to us to make sure that this basic commodity, this very important commodity, was being able to be accessed by residents. So we also have some rural electrification, and in Orange Hill, Trace Patience Hill, this one is ongoing. We have the Milford Paradise in Bonaccord that was completed, and if you think about this, you would think of Bonaccord being a very urban area.
Yes.
And you would be shocked to know that the conditions that some of these areas, residents in some of these areas are under. There's Easterfield Road, Mason Hall, well, as I said, Huntley Trace, Arnersville, completed Mary's Hill Wim, completed Crown Trace, Charlottesville. No, Mary's Hill Wim is outstanding. Crown Trace, Charlottesville, outstanding. Lady Smith Trace, Mariah, outstanding. Daniel Trace number 2. Dinette Trace number 2, Mason Hall, outstanding. Church Lane, Mason Hall, outstanding. And Cliff Road, Pembroke. Well, that one is completed.
Do you have an idea or an estimate of how much of our residents in Tobago are still without electricity?
I don't have the figures that are accessible right now, but it's a small number. It's a very small number. But the thing about it is, as villages expand, that's where the problem comes about, and the cost associated to electrify areas. Sometimes it's 100,000, 150,000. In the grand scheme of things, it's $150,000 isn't much money, but to someone now starting a home, and with the escalating cost of building a home, 150,000. Some of these persons, the house, that's half the price of the house that they're building. So it's very difficult to afford. So that's where we have to step in, and in the expansion, you would have 5, 6 families wanting to construct, and that's when we have to say, well, yes, this is a wise investment and an important investment in the island.
All right. So is there any other developments where electricity is concerned that the division is looking at?
Well, as I said before, TNTEC is really a 6th schedule and under the Ministry of Public Utilities. So our role is with coordinating and enhancing and filling the gap where necessary. The development plans for Tobago, those plans would have to be found out from TNTEC, and they aren't sharing those plans with us. We have a public utilities meeting that is held once a month, and in that meeting we bring the public utility stakeholders together, and at that point they are able to share timelines of projects so that we don't have people stepping on one another's toes. So we have WASA, TNTEC, Beaver Mobile, Digicel, PTSC, and we all bring them together. We bring them all together, and we have cordial conversations about the plans and so forth.
Now, I'm going to get into the other public utilities in just a bit, but I also want to find out in terms of, renewable energy and so on, because I know that there have been instances where we have tried in it's very, very small amounts with solar-powered lighting in throughout communities and so on. Is this something that the THA is exploring a bit more, or are you just leaving it to private citizens to do if they want?
Well, there's a problem with solar in terms of control with the excess electricity and how it would be rated with TNTEC. And until there's a definite policy with that, it would be very difficult for us to get into any major policy where that is concerned.
But is it something that the THA, that your administration is willing to look at?
Definitely. I mean, alternative forms of energy are the way to go. That is the future. And as I just said, you are seeing the amounts of monies that we have to expend from the taxpayers' coffers to deal with electrification. And if there are alternate forms that would be cheaper and much more convenient to use, then that would definitely be the direction to go. And we have been looking at designing. We have been looking at alternate forms of power in our designs, because in the home program we have been looking at alternative materials, and definitely alternative sources of power have been looked at.
All right, great. Well, Mr. George, we're not quite done with you yet. We've got a lot more to get into, so viewers, please don't go anywhere. We've got to go for a break, but we'll be right back.
My Standard 5 students across Tobago, allow me to pray for you. Merciful Creator, As our students prepare to write their SCA exam, I thank you that their value is not based on their performance, but on your great love for us all. Cover our young ones in your precious blood so that they can finish strong on this leg of their educational journey. Restore to their minds everything they have diligently studied so that they can respond to each question to the best of their abilities. Help them to remain calm, confident, and conscientious in their capability, and firm in the knowledge that no matter what happens in that exam room, you are there in their presence always. Grant each student peace of mind so powerful that it will cast away all anxieties, all uncertainties, and all doubts. I now plead with you to not only bring them success in this test, but in the many tests of life that are sure to come their way. May our students continue to walk in your goodness, in your guidance, and in your grace. Amen.
Hey, hello guys, welcome. Come have a seat. Oh, this is so stylish and I love the fabric. Darlings, you must tell us where you got your new furnishings.
We got them locally at Standard. They've got new chic European furniture, crafted from high quality material. Oh, Standard?
No, it's Standard, their brand new Hive collection.
Experience luxurious European furniture at a price you will love. The Hive Collection, now exclusively available at Standard.
Scrub Ties brings to you our organic fat dissolving shots. Yes guys, our lemon butter shots breaks down stubborn fat, tightens any loose skin while increasing your metabolism. No side effects, no downtime. We also offer cavitation, cellulite treatment, butt, breast, hip dip fillers, weight loss, fertility IVs, and much more. Contact us on 495-6624 or follow us on Instagram at Scrub Ties Body Contouring.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. Viewers, we are continuing our conversation this morning with the Assistant Secretary of Settlements, Public Utilities and Rural Development. So good, Mr. Niall George. Right. Now, before we went to the break, we were speaking a little bit about the lighting that's happening around Tobago. A lot of the streets that were dark are now getting to see some lights at night, which is great. But I want to get into some of the other things where public utilities are concerned, because that's your portfolio. You that falls under your purview, right? So we had a lot happening recently with WASA and the Minister of Public Utilities coming to Tobago, and whether it's to launch the booster stations and so on. And we are continually seeing that breakdown in conversation or breakdown in relationship between the Ministry of Public Utilities and the THA.
Yes, Candice, and I'm not one to complain much, and I'm not one to look for unnecessary fights. But I'm also not one to take disrespect very lightly. Last year, an invitation was sent to the division for myself to be present in the opening of 2 booster stations. It was sent on Friday and Saturday. I got a phone call to say that it was a mistake. Since then, recently we have seen the opening of 2 further facilities. We are seeing the Member of Parliament for Tobago East and West present in these openings. No one from the THA, not myself, not Secretary Pollard. No invitations were extended. And I'm saying that that is definitely not good enough, because if you looked at the Goldsboro, there's a water treatment plant to be built at Goldsboro. Consultations were held. Members of the THA were absent. They went around in a circle, only to realize that in order to access the grant, they had to have some tenure to the land. At that point in time, they had to come right back to the THA because the land is vested in the THA. Meeting was held. It could have been a petty situation, but that would have done nothing for Tobagonians. Within 2 weeks, they were able to secure tenure to access grant, so that the treatment plant would be built to help the residents of Tobago. We in this administration are here to ease the woes of Tobagonians, to advance the cause of Tobagonians, and the unnecessary squabbling is not of us. Now, with that being said, at some point in time, you must put down your foot. I remember in the days of Mr. London and UNC in government, you would be hearing disrespect every Monday morning. So I would not have expected to be in this situation at this point. Probably it's because elections are in the air or something, because they are all honky-dory in front of the camera, but behind the scenes, it's a totally different situation. Totally different. And I would like Tobagonians to take note of that.
So if I understand correctly, so they are continually leaving the THA out of these conversations about developments that need to happen in Tobago to ensure water gets to the residents, but yet, when they have to, almost like when they need the land, then that's the only time that they come to the THA. And what are those conversations like when they come to the THA? And is there even any sort of attempt to try to mend some of the broken relationships or try to make it better for the future? Like, give us some insights as to what goes on behind the scenes.
Well, not really, no. But the thing is, us wanting development for Tobago probably is to a detriment politically, but it's just us. It's just what the TPP is about. And we would definitely not stand in the way of any development for Tobago. Mm-hmm. I mean, Mr. Gonzalez is the Minister of Public Utilities. He is in the cabinet, which is responsible for Trinidad and Tobago. But what we are saying is there's a respectful manner in which to do things. And we are just asking for the respect that we deserve. You were elected into office, so were we. The people of Tobago have chosen us to guide the path of Tobago, and the people of Trinidad and Tobago have chosen you to guide the path of Trinidad and Tobago. And we are just saying there has to be an amicable way of doing things. It can't be just because you are the minister, you just come into Tobago, do as you wish. That's not the way it's supposed to be done. Mm-hmm. And if you are unsure of the way it is supposed to be done, you could ask the Chief Secretary present, which is Honorable Fadi Chavez Augustine, and you can definitely ask the Chief Secretary past, who was Mr. Orville London, because he would have gotten on the media every Monday morning to stress these inconsistencies.
And, how do you feel about that whole situation where, the minister sort of bypasses the THA? Because even when we questioned him a few weeks ago when he wasn't here in Tobago to open the booster station, he said that because it's a 6th schedule item, It's just a government project, you know, he doesn't necessarily need to have that conversation with the THA.
So what more do you really need me to say about the situation? Mr. Gonzalez just pretty much stated the attitude towards Tobago by the central government. And to me, it's very unfortunate. I wish it was not that way. I am here to work with anyone for the development of Tobago and Tobagonians. And I can tell you that there is no hindrance on our side. We are always willing to work with, notwithstanding the political differences, because to me, politics, it's election time. You do what you do, the people decide, and then after that, we're supposed to work together to the benefit of each and every one on the island.
And then, of course, when it comes to WASA, we continually see the problems where the roads are being damaged by WASA. And there was that MOU that was there in place for how it should be fixed. It expired, and there's been no reestablishment of that MOU over the last couple of years. What has been that conversation like? Because I mean, all we're hearing is that, you know, it's trying to be worked out, but we're not really hearing the details about what's going on, because at the end of the day, the THA gets blamed for the state of the roads, and it is a cost. It's a cost on the THA, it's a cost on the public as well when the roads are in the state as it is.
So, WASA in their repairs would damage road. In the conversations, they are suggesting that they provide the material and we provide the equipment. But in the damaging of the road, we are providing nothing. And it is unfair that we have to repair these roads after you all have damaged them to repair the pipelines. To me, the job is not completed until we have repaired the roads. And I think that it's very political, because they understand that the first persons that the public get angry at are the THA officials. The Secretary for Works, they're saying you're not fixing the roads. But the responsibility really lies with WASA. And they are negating their responsibility and pretty much throwing it onto us. We already receive a very small financial package for the year. And those resources could be used to help in other places. I mean, Grace Walls meant so much damage from flooding in 2022, and you now have to take these sparse resources to fix roads that have been damaged by WASA. To me, it's wrong. It's just to me, it's just a political play. They understand where the anger would be, and just pulling the strings from central government.
Now, I also want to talk about data in Tobago, because telecommunications connectivity is just as important as electricity now in our day and age. If we want our businesses to advance, if we want our tourism industry and so on to advance, we need to have that infrastructure, that data infrastructure there to support it. But we also know that Tobago has not been in the best position. What is happening in the background? What is the conversations like to get Tobago to that place where the private sector can upgrade their individual infrastructures to match up with the rest of the world?
Well, Digicel has been working on the Deep Blue project, right, which is a higher infrastructure position, and it is expected to be launched soon. So I can tell you there are good works in the background, and there's a lot to be looking forward to.
So we will, because I want to get this from you clearly, will we still have problems where a tree falls in Toco and then we're without data for a while? Will we still have problems where there's a fiber break somewhere and a hotel does not have data connectivity for a few days?
As long as the Deep Blue project is completed, those problems should be problems of the past.
And then what about in terms of the strength of the bandwidth and all of that? Because all of that matters too.
I cannot answer that one precisely because I do not have the information at at hand for that. That would be a conversation that you'd have to have with Digicel to have the intimate information.
Mm-hmm. But you all are having those, you all are continuing the talks with them.
Yes, we are speaking with them, but there's only so much that they will allow us. They will, we are only privy to so much. There's their trade stuff, and they wouldn't allow us too deeply into their business.
And give us an idea, what are some of the challenges that they present to you? So when you say that, these are some areas in Tobago that are without connectivity and so on, and you would like to see those areas get connected, what is the response that you get?
Well, Candice, to be honest with you, that conversation hasn't been had at this point in time as yet. There are obvious reasons in terms of the number of persons living in the area and the business cost in getting things done. So that would be the main one. But as I said before, those intimate conversations pertaining to, really, Candice, when you look at the entire island, there are very few areas that does not have connectivity. Mm-hmm. And the problem with connectivity is one that, as I said before, Digicel would be better suited to answer that question.
Okay. And now coming back down to your division itself, what are some of the other goals, other than the street lighting project that you have to complete? What are some of the other goals that you guys are hoping to complete by the end of this year?
Well, with the home program, we intend to do 14 homes for underprivileged persons, the people who are in dire need, people who would not, under normal circumstances, be able to construct or own a home. Mm-hmm. And that's the main one that we are looking forward to. We are also aiming to get the Shervan housing project off the ground. In terms of start of construction, it would be done in a phased manner. Now, one of the things that we met when we came here, none of the housing projects that we met when we came here have a certificate of completion. So a lot of persons may look at it and saying that things are taking a very long time to get off the ground. The reason for that is that when we aim to get the project off the ground and carry it to completion, and when I say completion, I mean a point where we have a certificate of completion and responsibility for the housing lots would be handed over to the homeowners. The division is currently paying millions of dollars to upkeep divisions projects because of no certificate of completion. And we have brought all the stakeholders together. Tongue and Country did not come. We have Environment, T&Tech, WASA, to get exactly what is necessary for these housing projects to be brought to completion. And we keep, as I said, we keep regular meetings so that we would not have the problems that past executives have had.
All right, great. Well, I want to thank you so much, Mr. George, for being on with us and for giving us some insights into what's been happening in your division, especially with public utilities, because we know that's a little ticklish topic. And we hope that you continue this conversation as we go on.
Okay.
All right, great. Well, viewers, we got a lot more coming up for you on GMT, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back after this break.
The best place to stay in Tobago is at Thorn's Place, with rates starting as low as 200 TT. Call or WhatsApp 745-7306 or 682-8676. We are located uptown Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port. Remember, at Thorn's Place, our aim is to make your stay safe and affordable.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. Viewers, now we are chatting with something that is going to help benefit the cocoa industry here in Tobago. Yes, we still have a cocoa industry. It might be small, but we still have a little bit of it. And the intention is to grow that because we know the best cocoa in the world comes from Trinidad and Tobago. So I'm being joined by Mr. Dwayne Dove right now. And of course, you know him as the owner of Tobago Cocoa Estate. So good morning and welcome to you, Mr. Dove, coming to us all the way from Sweden.
Yes, good morning. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Great. So now we are talking about something that is really going to help you all out there as we are trying to revive the cocoa industry. And that has to do with this bird whaler system that's being set up, because we know that as much as we love the parrots, as much as we love the coquelicot and so on, they are detrimental to the cocoa industry because they literally eat everything. So tell me about how this new bird whaler system is supposed to work and how it will help you guys.
Well, first and foremost, I just have to say before I forget, kudos to the collaboration between CADI, the THA, and Digicel, because without this collaboration, we would not actually have this device in Tobago as it is right now. So we are one of the farms that actually, well, we had it. Right now it's kind of floating around the island. It's been tested at different farms to see the effect. And I mean, we have been waiting for a solution like this for 13 years, you know, so it is way overdue, basically.
Tell me about the concerns that you guys have. So I know that the birds are really a big challenge. Let's explain to us exactly how bad it is, how much it affects the ability to revive the cocoa industry.
Well, I mean, as I have said throughout all the years, we cannot even think about getting back into cocoa unless we deal with the parrot problem. Getting free cocoa trees or plants, getting land, getting labor, that's the least of our problems. We need to deal with the parrot problem. We received our first harvest 2009. We made our first chocolate January 2010. January 2011, that is when we started to get hit by the parrots. And as it is right now, we are losing over 50% of our harvest every year because of the parrots.
And now that you have this bird whaler system being tested out in Tobago, is it working?
Yes, definitely. We saw already the first day that that device was installed on the farm that there was no sight of any parrot activity. The 3 weeks we had it, no sight of any parrot activity. But I just want to say that this whaler device is just one of several things we need to do to combat the parrot problem. So we cannot just depend on the whaler. We need to go further. We need to basically have a team to actually remove the eggs from the nest of the parrots. We need to cull the birds. There's a huge population of parrots. We need to bring that population down. And we also need to introduce wild hawks to the area again. So all of these things together is long term. So we can't look at this whaler as just a one-hit wonder, and we have to continue. We have to do several things.
Yes, certainly. But can you explain a little bit about how the whaler works?
Right. So it's a device. It's powered. It's solar powered, so it's environmentally friendly. And I actually contacted our our inspector, our organic inspector to find out whether we could have this on the farm. And of course, we got approval, so no problem. All right, so it's on a scaffolding. All right, it's located center of the estate, and it's a combination. It's a small box with 4 speakers, and it really sends out different sounds, different frequencies, right? That scares the birds away. It makes the birds feel that they're in distress, right? A hawk coming, somebody trying to shoot them. So that is what scares the birds away. But you see, these birds are so smart. If they keep hearing the noise, but they're not seeing any casualties. You understand? And after a while, they will just get accustomed to the sounds, basically.
And hence the need for being able to cull the bird population on the land.
Yes, we have too many birds. You know, those parrots are like an apex animal. They don't have any enemies. So they just more and more parrots all the time. So that's why we need to, this has to be a long-term effort. And as I said, you can't just buy a whole bunch of whalers and place them all over the island. I mean, then the parrots will come into your gardens and eat up all your lettuce and your whatever. So it has to be, you have to bring the population down, basically. You have to do that.
Now, other than the bird population, what are the other concerns that you all have that is preventing us from really being able to start reviving the cocoa industry?
Well, I mean, a lot of people say how labor is a problem, all right? And a lot of the young generation in Tobago are disconnected from cocoa, well, agriculture on the whole. So that is an issue. That is a big problem. But I think incentives are also, encouraging, trying to generate some local production to get people interested. I mean, in summertime, we have a lot of school groups that come up to the estate, for camp and all these kind of different things. And that's a way to get them involved again and get them interested, and of course, give them chocolates. But it's a lot of hard work, with cocoa farming. So we need to encourage people. We need to lock them into this industry again, and that is something that needs to be done to get people more involved.
Now, I know climate change is also one of the issues in terms of being able to grow the cocoa properly, because you need certain temperatures at night, certain cooler temperatures at night. And with the way things are changing now, our temperatures are increasing at the night, and that is working against the ability of the cocoa trees to be able to give us a good harvest like we used to a long time. I mean, is there any solutions being explored where those things are concerned?
Well, we are definitely seeing the effects of the global climate change. I've been seeing that for about 5-6 years now. The rainy season is becoming more intensive. You're getting too much precipitation all at once, which means that you'll get disease, fungus disease, and that leads to black pod, which kills the pods, destroys your crop. And also in the dry season, it's very intensely dry. It's biscuit dry, so you have bushfires. The trees are stressed because they're not getting enough water. And that all of this, affects your yields, at the end of the day. So this is affecting your production. So you're losing crop because of the parrots, and then you're not getting the crop that you're supposed to get because of the weather change. Now, you see the climate change thing, that is not something that is a quick fix. That is definitely long term. What my agronomist is telling me is that the cocoa tree will eventually sort of adjust itself due to the weather, right? So instead of starting harvesting in October, we might start harvesting in December. And then the harvest will prolong maybe until August instead of finishing in June. So that will probably happen eventually, but we don't have like a exact date. When is that going to happen? So I think, and it's more man hours when the weather comes like this, because we have to do more pruning, more regular pruning. Pruning is an expensive task, right? So there are more costs involved, all right? Because if we don't prune, all right, and have good airflow, the disease will grow, right? So it's becoming more expensive, to upkeep the farm because of the climate change, and then you have losses because of the parrot problem. So to tell people to get into cocoa now, I think we need to first and foremost deal with the parrot problem. And then after that, we need to try to get people interested from a young age back into cocoa again. Maybe you need to have like forums in schools, and have lectures and this kind of stuff, and get cocoa back into the curriculum, maybe. I don't know, something along those lines. And if the photos you are seeing there right now that is to show you the massive damage that we get from these birds. They're like flying piranhas.
Which is so unfortunate because, like I said at the opening, is that Tobago and Trinidad produces some of the best cocoa in the world. We are known worldwide.
Yep. We have our wonderful Trinitario, and we have about 7 or 8 different. We have 8 different strains of Trinitario planted at Tobago Cocoa Estate, and these different strains, because of how we planted them, because of how we ferment and how we dry, how we store. All right. I mean, everything is done on a micro basis, and we get to retain all those wonderful Trinitario flavors, characteristic for the bean. And that reflects, all right, in the chocolates that I make, right? And that's why we get in awards all the time. In December here, we got 3 international awards, 2 silvers and a bronze in London. And we just delivered samples for the European World Chocolate Awards coming up in June. So are we going to win awards again? We're going to do it because we have good stuff. We have good raw material and we make great chocolates, right? So, but in Trinidad and Tobago, especially in Trinidad, is seen a lot of problems also from climate change and from parrot damage. So the cocoa numbers in Trinidad and Tobago are, it's a shame to say the tonnage that Trinidad is producing compared to the 1930s, when cocoa was king.
Certainly. Now, I also want to talk a little bit about just even the relationship with the THA, because we saw at the end of last year, beginning of this year, a couple of consultations with the public about reviving the cocoa industry. And from those, have you been a part of those conversations? And if you have been a part of those conversations, are you confident that the THA is going in the right direction in terms of working with the stakeholders to let's see how we can really revive in spite of the challenges that we are facing?
I must say that this present THA, government crew team, I call them a team, have been fabulous. I mean, I've gotten so much good, positive response and assistance from both the Honorable Chief Secretary. He listens, and I think he's doing the best that he can based on the circumstances. And I can also say this for the Secretary, Agricultural Secretary. I mean, herself and we have had many discussions as to how to deal with this parrot problem. So there's a genuine interest. And I mean, just to throw in some tourism there, I mean, Secretary Burris also, a good energy, a good vibe, but I guess, they can only go that far because they have restrictions and circumstances. But I had a very nice, productive meeting with all the secretaries last year. July, actually before the cocoa season begun, and it's really the results of those meetings that we now have the whaler in Tobago. So I mean, I've been waiting 13 years for something like this to happen, all right? And all of a sudden now, at least within 6 months, something has happened. So I see that as huge progress.
And certainly, and we are looking forward for more progress because, of course, we want our cocoa industry to go back up. I mean, we want you to be able to produce more chocolate so we can be on the world, especially where chocolate is concerned, because it's such a wonderful thing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Well, that is what we want to do. So I'm hoping that the whaler will come back to Tobago Cocoa Estate soon, because it's obviously floating around the island, the gathering research information, and that's fully understandable. But I think, as I said, we cannot just depend on the whaler. We have to do some culling also. That is the next step.
All right, great. I want to thank you so much, Mr. Dove, for being on with us. And we're looking forward for you to be back in studio. And of course, for us to have some more chocolate from you, because it is some of the best.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
All right, great. Well, viewers, I want to thank you all for being here with us. It was certainly such a pleasure to be on the show this morning. So I hope you have a safe and wonderful day, and we will see you again tomorrow. And of course, best of luck to our SAA students out there today. And I hope you are rocking your socks because, of course, today is World Down Syndrome Day. And, you know, we got to show our support to that community. And it's not just about wearing your socks. It's also about making sure that we as citizens do our best to support those who are Down syndrome, because they are literally one of us. They're just a little bit different, but at the end of the day, they're still people. They can still make very meaningful contributions to our society, and there's no reason why they should be ostracized or treated differently just because, you know, of how they were born. All right, so viewers, hope you have a safe one for there, and we'll see you again tomorrow.